We spoke the other day. We spoke about the first chapter of Anna Karenina, which is a nice one, and it was great, but it's not our favorite. Our favorite somehow is chapter 11, where Vronsky and Anna first met. Isn't that so?
Actually, it's chapter 18,
Oh,
but
it's
I think
chapter
this is,
18. Yeah, I messed it up. Sorry, chapter 18.
well, I mean, we're on Patroma therapy 11. I mean, we need to be in therapy. Yes,
Exactly.
chapter chapter 18. Chapter 18 is like just like the kernel. It's just like the greatest part. It's like they first meet, and I remember when I first read this some years ago when I was in college or graduate school or something. I always remember Anna as being, a dark hair and dark eyelashes, and I always visualized Vronsky as having dark hair. And then when I've seen some of the more modern interpretations of this on film, they cast Vronsky as a blonde, which was a little unnerving for me.
There is this old Soviet movie. I liked it because somehow I like both Anna and Vronsky in it. I've seen several movies, but this is my favorite. And the Vronsky is actually dark haired in that movie. I'll send you a clip there, or I insert it into our recordings later for you to see it.
Screw, yeah, that sounds good. Okay, well, should we just get started with reading a little bit from
Yeah,
chapter
that would have been
18?
great. Yeah, could you do that?
Yeah. So they're speaking of Tolstoy is speaking of a carriage, but it's actually a carriage of a car on a train. So this is a train station, and then there's the classic sort of ending part that's at a train station. So trains are a big part of the journey of Anna Karenina. Chapter 18. Vronsky followed the guard to the carriage, and at the door of the compartment he stopped short to make room for a lady who was getting out.
Mm. Go on.
With the insight of a man of the world, from one glance at the lady's appearance, Vronsky classified her as belonging to the best society. He excused himself and was about to get into the carriage, but felt he must glance at her once more. Not because she was very beautiful, not because of the elegance and the modest grace that were apparent in her whole figure, but because in the expression of her charming face as she passed close by him, there was something peculiarly caressing and soft. As he looked around, she too turned her head. Her shining gray eyes, which looked dark from the thick lashes, rested with friendly attention on his face, and as though she recognized him, and then promptly turned away to the passing crowd, as though seeking someone. In that brief look, Vronsky had time to notice the suppressed eagerness which played all over her face, and flitted between the brilliant eyes and the faint smile that curved her red lips. It was as though her nature was so brimming over with something that against her will it showed itself now in the flash of her eyes and now in the smile. Deliberately she shrouded the light in her eyes, but it shone against her will in the faintly perceptible smile.
Mm. I can relate how Vronsky fallen prey to the temptations when he saw Anna first.
Yeah, that's a pretty seductive little scene there.
I like it. I
Yeah, and
like
then
it for no particular reason. Just I enjoy when you read it. I enjoy this chapter and this first paragraph as well. Is this your first? Is this your favorite paragraph as well, or do you have any parts?
yes, I like. No, I like it. I like it because everything is kind of prefigured in this. There's this. there's this kind of magnetic attraction that they have, and she's kind of looking at him, but then she looks away because she's going to meet her brother or somebody at the station, and then he perceives in her this magnetism that he, and she's kind of close nearby, so he must actually physically be close to her. I mean, physical proximity, but yeah, there's a magnetism and there's an attraction in the writing, and it's only one paragraph. I mean, to be one paragraph in a book that's 927 pages long, it's a very powerful piece of writing. And also, Tolstoy says that this light or energy or attraction that's in her, she sort of tries to repress it a little bit, but it's or she shrouds it, but it's somehow just like against her will, just kind of, you know, gleaming out at him. So it's a great piece of writing.
Mm. You know, Anna has a brother Steve, who we discussed the other day when we read chapter 1. And,
Yes.
you know, it's like there is a double standard here because, uh, like, everyone brushes off the indiscretions of Anna, but Anna's brother. But
Steva. Yes.
everyone's like blaming Anna for displaying such an attraction to Vronsky somehow.
Yes. Well, there's this is a very class conscious book, and I suppose that Russia at that time and many other countries are very conscious of class, and that there's the lower class, the middle class, the upper class. The upper class is known by its manners and its clothing and its parties and formalities. So one of the first things that Tolstoy has Vronsky do is to say that he sees this lady who's getting out, and then he like sort of stops and says, just from one glance, Vronsky classified her as belonging to the best society. So he's already like summed it all up in like one glance, and that glance is a very fatal glance for him. This is like more fatal attraction.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas earlier, an episode or so ago, we were talking about Steva. He has gone outside of his marriage and somehow had some sort of a dalliance with the governess, and somehow they get over it, and it's not described in it at all. It's not described as passionate. He's not driven to her. His wife gets annoyed, but most of the household sort of accepts it, kind of, well, boys will be boys, men will be men. But here, I think it's the strength of their attraction and the fact that Anna has caught the eye of this young, up and coming military man that the society finds kind of disturbing. I think they're disturbed by the whole thing.
Mm. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just thinking of modern day women and how their experience, whether or not their experience, those modern day women who may stray from their husbands, is different from the experience Anna had 200 years ago, and or
Well,
nothing.
I think modern times, as an American and having traveled some in the United States, like you can still technically be married and have all kinds of things going on, all kinds of infidelities. So you might have some online relationship, you might have someone you talk to on the phone, you might have some guy you flirt with when you go get coffee, but you're still technically married. And even when someone sees your wedding ring, they go, "Oh, I see you're married," and then you still might go out with the guy for coffee. So I think the opportunities in modern times are much greater, and like there's really no punishment.
Yeah.
There's very little punishment. Like, okay, fine, so and so had an affair. Okay, well, everybody's doing it, so get over it. And also in the United States, there's like multiple divorces. Like people might be in a monogamous relationship, and then that doesn't work out, so they get divorced, and they get into another monogamous relationship, and then, or even if they're not married, just going from person to person to person is not considered to be very abnormal.
Mm. Do you think that Anna was, fast forward a few chapters, do you think that she was abandoned by Vronsky after all?
No, they have some kind of a toxic love. It is forbidden. Vronsky goes against his mother's wishes. At first of all, the mother thinks, "Oh, this is great. You're having an affair with a society lady. That'll be great for your career." Then his mother decides, "No, it's not great for your career. You're making all these wrong moves for this woman." So, you know, it it turns out that she has left her husband. Has left her son. She's left society. They're kind of all have gone on a vacation together. The only thing they have is each other. It's like this toxic relationship that is self-destructive because once he once she captures him, like first of all she attracts him, then she captures him, and that's called femme fatale, the dangerous, like the Black Widow spider. Like I'm gonna catch you, and then I'm gonna eat you alive and you're gonna die. Like so, the femme fatale attracts the man and then kills the man. That's the only way they work.
Mm.
That's how it works. So she got him. He gave up his career. He gave up a lot of things, and that wasn't enough. He wanted to go out and like play cards or go for a walk, and she was like totally annoyed.
Yeah. I'm thinking this book would have been so much better if it was Steve who thought about jumping in front of a train instead of Anna.
Yeah, well, Steve doesn't have to because he's not feeling anything when he's had his affair or his dalliance or whatever it is with the governess. He didn't even blink an eye. Just he probably has several of those things going on, and his wife isn't even paying attention. She's got her kids, her house, her maid, her cook. They're not even paying attention. And like the only thing Steven wants to do is just get everything back to normal. Like the house is in a kind of perturbed and annoyed. But once Dolly gets over it, like, well, I kind of like them, and yeah, well, boys will be boys. So like Steva, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
Families.
much care for Steva.
Happy families.
I mean,
Sorry.
I don't much care for I don't much care for Steva, and also I don't like Anna's husband. He's annoying. Anna's
I
husband.
actually like him. He's a statesman.
He's a what?
Statesman.
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 Yeah,
I'm
statesman.
sorry. Yeah.
That's okay.
I like
Well, I
him.
don't care.
Their
Like,
family.
you,
Of course, it was probably loveless for Anna, but like we said yesterday, happy families cannot all be the same. So maybe that's the point Tolstoy is making. There are no happy families, so he's not to blame.
well, the thing about I don't know. I think Anna is a beautiful young girl, and then somehow it's the arrangement of families. Like her husband has money and power and position in society, so he's a suitable match. It's you're not marrying for love or passion. He'll do. You'll have a house, you'll have a carriage, you'll have a maid. Like this will be good for you. And I believe during those times, marriages were made with what would be good for you, because I just know, looking back into my own family tree and my own family history, Italian Catholics wanted, you should be dating other Italian Catholics, and you shouldn't stray too far from, your little world. You certainly shouldn't marry for love. You marry a man that has position, and he has a future, and he has money, and he's already bought a house. And but the thing is, a house and money get kind of boring and annoying, and then after a while, you just start looking around, you know? I mean, affairs are not something new,
Yeah,
right?
I absolutely. Yeah, I'm just when I'm thinking of love affairs, it's like it seems to me that it was a more romantic thing in the past than it
The love
nowadays.
affair was romantic.
Yeah, the images of a more romantic past that come to mind when I dream of love affairs. Um,
Hmm.
but I don't know. Maybe either way, it's excellent writing, and
Yes. Well, the other thing is there in this scene that we're looking at here today, there's this magnetic attraction. I'm not sure that it's only lust. It's not just he's lusting after her because that's what Steva did. He just found some girl and it's like, okay, let's do this. It there's this compulsive nature to Anna and Vronsky, and the compulsion that drives it ultimately destroys it. And Tolstoy doesn't end the story with the death of Anna, falling into the train tracks. There's some more story after it, but like we had spoken of before, psychologically or emotionally or whatever, for me the novel ends, when Anna has jumped from the train. I always remember jumped onto the train tracks. I always remember that as the ending. And then when I started rereading this again a year or two ago, I was like surprised, like, oh wow, there's like another 100 pages after Anna's dead.
mm. Yeah, well, that's Tolstoy, the greatest world novelist.
Well, he's up there. He's definitely up there. But the thing about the femme fatale, it's the fatal attraction. He's trapped from the beginning. He's doomed from the beginning. As soon as he looks into her eyes, it's all over for Vronsky. It's like it's all over. And then a few chapters later, they're at a dance, and you know, you know, uh, Kitty had been sort of flirting a little bit with Vronsky, and then Anna, swoops him away at the dance, and then it just keeps going on and on and on and on. So like this attraction, this magnetic attraction, is toxic, and it's you know nothing satisfies her. He gives up everything, and she's still not happy. There's something wrong with this woman. There's something wrong with this woman. I mean, she's beautiful though.